artifacts, and they still are punitive. Okay, so to fairness in a absolute sense.
Okay, well here's my problem then. There is this old prejudice that's about to be weeded out, like you said. There's progress happening, yet when it comes to divorce law, young males who enter into relationships with women are still paying the money to the women, even though they are not the ones who hold that prejudice. They're not the ones who hold the thing that we're trying to make amends for.
Again,
you know?
well, where do you have that in law? First off, you can have prenuptial agreements, and so I guess as long as you're not cheating on her and you violate the prenup, okay, you can protect your assets or whatever it is you're trying to protect. But the fact is, if you're going to have kids or something, if the woman's going to invest her time, that's right. If your relationship breaks up, you're going to have to pay for that fucking daycare.
And the thing as well is I mean, of course, there's more women that are actually going to college now, and there's more women that are in the corporate world. But if you look at the positions of power, it still remains in the hands of males.
The way women have gotten where they are in terms of financial security is through inheritance. Okay, I mean, women have inherited stock ownership, boardroom entrance. Okay, they've gotten in there the back door. They've gone in through the back door. They haven't gotten in there through the legitimate door, and that's another disappointment.
I really don't know whether that's true or not. I'll take your word for it, but at least it seems as if these same women might be funding projects that are directed towards, lobbying the government to raise the standards on admissions for women to enter things like law school, med school, and engineering and all that, and making it so that in the next generation they will do better. But the only qualm I had was just the fact that younger males are being punished through things like employment equity and affirmative action for the prejudices of older generations. If some 60-year-old sexist is not hiring some women, why should I be punished for it,
Well, because that's just the way the world works, okay? So everybody has to compensate for the crimes of other people. So we all lose some rights because some assholes are going to be willing to mug people. So then there has to be curfews, there has to be street lights, there has to be some cops on the street. We have to pay for that shit. And that's the price we have to pay because of some kind of crap that's gone on in the past, all right, or that could happen in the future. And the idea, look, I don't want to argue all this politics, but for you to think that systems don't need to be tweaked to make them work right, and that there's been plenty of evidence that this is deliberate discrimination. Okay, I mean, women get harassed constantly in jobs, constantly. Okay, with this crap about you sleep with me and I can get you a better position. They're constantly having to do this bargaining bullshit if they look like anything. I mean, these are lousy, rotten circumstances that people face. All right, I mean, and I've seen it happen. I've seen it. Okay, I've seen a lot of it, and it's disgusting the position that women are put in.
The only thing I have to say is you're right. I mean, there are tweaks that have to happen, and I mean, I'm willing to accept that. But that's not to say that in an instance like this, I'm not going to complain about it, lest people forget about it. It's still worthwhile talking about.
Forget about what? A 3% circumstance that has an effect on the margins. I mean, it just seems like you're making an awful big whine about something that probably isn't going to be a substantial barrier. If you're really motivated, you want something, you're still going to be able to get it, and this stupid little fairness fix isn't going to deprive you of your life.
All right,
I just want to really jump in quick. I just want to jump in really quick. I mean, this guy's argument the whole time was, I'll drop the 30-decade bullshit. But his argument was that women nowadays going to school more than men and blah blah blah, and they're just as equal as men and yada yada. And now he's arguing about inequality between women getting more preferential treatment towards getting jobs than guys. I mean, seriously, dude, pick a fucking side. You're bouncing all around the fucking basketball court.
Yeah, well, all I'm saying, I'm coming from a personal perspective, all right? First of all, I applied to a very liberal university for law school, and they've got quotas at this school. It's the best school in Canada, and they've got a 50% quota for women, and they've got a 35% quota for minorities. Where does that leave the waspy white Protestant man at the end of the day?
It leaves him with his proportional shot. It leaves him still with 65% of the opportunity. I mean, I think there is a real legitimacy in obliging us evolving together, not segregated, not different, not on different planets or different. And so, if this is the easiest and cheapest way to eliminate poverty. This is the way that's the way to do it, is to get them into colleges and then get them living better lives and raising better families. You gotta turn your mic off when other people are talking.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know. Um, all I'm saying is that I'm letting loose a little bit of steam because that's, you know,
Well, I understand,
how
but
democracy
it's a little bit
works.
of ugly steam because this really is an issue that's been beaten to death. Okay, it's been created as this horrible bogeyman, and I just think it's a lot of. It just seems really petty for like I said, the people who have this huge advantage, especially when you think about all the money. You know what I mean? Like, look at Harvard. They don't let people, they give people a free ride because Daddy went there. Well, why did Daddy go there? Oh, that's right, because he inherited a big pile of money. You know what I'm saying? So these are huge advantages given to people. You get to go to Harvard for free sometimes too if you're, son of an alumni. Blah 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 blah. I mean, and that is, you can't deny that old system still has tentacles in this system. And until
I
we break
agree, and I
that,
mean, from the perspective of politics, you're completely right. But when you look at it from your own individual life, it's everything. For me not to get into this school because people think I've had some kind of advantage, even though I've grown up through 12 years of school respecting and tolerating both races, sexes, and different sexual orientations, I'm still being punished for the bigotry of past generations. That has absolutely nothing to do with me. And I know it's a little bit of a sacrifice, but it's my sacrifice and something I did not do anything in the first place to deserve.
I understand. I mean, we all hate it when we roll the craps, The craps is annoying. Um, but yeah, unfortunately, that's life,
But
you
you'd
know.
still be benefiting from, what an old sexist old fart is, doing when it comes to like not hiring women.
Well, I think we
Yeah,
fixed it.
you're right. You're right, man. Like, I know what you mean. I've got benefits all around me, and I'm kind of just playing the devil's advocate right now. I know that every time I walk in the city street and an old businessman looks at me, they've got a slightly more positive image of me than they would, say, a woman or a minority. And, I am just playing the devil's advocate. I know there's all kinds of advantages in other areas of life, but this is just one kind of important one that kind of makes you think. It's kind of like the first realization of progress turning things on its head, and the white man's finally having to deal with a lot of the problems that other people have been dealing with for hundreds of years, and they're kind of just left like, well, what the fuck did I do? I'm kind of in the other person's shoes for once.
Yeah, well,
Well,
wait till you
basically,
start living like the people in the third world. And then you're gonna really have a future shock. How the come we are the ones that have to live like the third world? Mine and them greatest generation people do it. They spend all our money, them fuckers. I mean, it's true. I mean, a baby
and
that's born today
I
is
can actually sympathize
$200,000
with,
in debt.
you know,
I mean, it's $200,000 in debt the day he's born. I mean, so, he's got plenty to gripe about. What the fuck? You spent all my money. They spent all my money.
I guess I should be grateful for having diapers, let alone a fucking opportunity to go to law school, you know.
Well, yeah,
There's
and you don't
nothing
got
to
like
complain
worms eating your colon or something. I mean, you got lots of benefits, lots of advantages. But yeah, look, you don't have to feel lucky. I'm just saying that it's, you know, it's worth making an argument about, just to be sure that people don't go too far. But you got to understand, there's people out there who only want to, you know, they want to fight it from a very biased and bigoted point of view. And so I'm just saying that you know, you got to be kind of careful when you're going to march in that parade, because that parade is full of shitheads.
Okay,
You know,
well,
you're going to
here's
look like a shithead.
Okay, so what do you do when you've got to, you know, step up to the voting booth and decide on which basis am I going to draw my vote? I mean, like, I've got all these positions on things, and am I supposed to act in a way that's contrary to my self-interest when I go voting in politics? Isn't politics about, you know, firming what you feel is best
I
for
agree
yourself?
completely. Do you want to see a penis?
Especially for me.
It's about voting for a piece of crap or a piece of shit. And you have to
What's the
decide,
difference,
let's
sir?
see, do I want S or do I want C? Because they're both going to suck.
I mean, bottom line is politics is a fucking pile of shit. You're basically gonna get, like you said, a pile. You're gonna get a pile of shit or a fucking stinky turd.
Yeah, well, I think I just said that, but whatever. I said it better.
Well, that's what I just said. All right. Well, apropos, which means appropriate, I think, in Greek. Anyway, I'll give you an example. I graduated from an Ivy League school. I spent over $250,000 on my fucking education going through school. I have almost a doctorate. I went into the military, served in the military. All I ever wanted to do was be a fireman. I am shipboard, structure, and helo certified by the military. I got into the fucking the system where I live at. I took the test. I graduated, taking the fucking written test with a 95 percentile. I got, there was 6 minutes to take the agility test. I did it in half the time. And I scored higher than over 70% of the people. I had 5 service star points, and I still got fucking fucked out of it because there's people that are grandfathered in that their sons or grandsons or whatever are that their grandfathers were firemen that got onto it, and then there was other people that they have to hire so many minorities, which drove me fucking nuts because I'm smarter, I'm better, I'm more physically better than they are. I can do the job better than they are, and I fucking failed at it. But you know what? That's the fucking way life is, dude. It's a kick in the fucking dick. No matter how you look at it, and if it wasn't that, it's going to be something else. And the only way to fucking do anything is just to play the game. And you're just going to keep losing and losing and losing. You're asking like, oh, what should I do? Who should I vote for? You vote for a Democrat or a Republican, you're going to get a fucking asshole no matter who you get.
Yeah, that's luckily why I live in Canada, where we have a democratic socialist choice. But that's beside the point. Like, you know what though? What the number one lesson you got to learn from that, you and me both, is probably just to look at things like titles and labels a little less reverentially. Like when people say they come from some bullshit Ivy League school, you got to say, so what? Prove it. You know, prove your intellectual, like prove your intelligence to me before I give you any respect. That's the thing. People are so caught up in just image that they see someone who should be the ruler of the world, but really they're a fucking idiot on the inside. And I think just people have to get past that, and then things will be a little better. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it cuts both ways, though, because there's so many posers, you know, in the world, people pretending to, you know, have qualifications they don't have. So, I mean, it works both ways, but, yeah, I mean, generally speaking, I think it should be irrelevant, but...
Yeah, I think Bandit's a fucking asshole. You know, you got a $250,000 fucking education, but you wear your fucking hat sideways? I think you're a fucking dumbass. I think I went to the fucking library and got the same fucking education, and it cost me about $3 in fucking late fees at the fucking library as your fucking education. You're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, but see, the difference is between somebody like you and me is that I actually have the responsibility to bring my books back on time, and I actually read the books. Somebody like you just takes them back late and doesn't read them. That's why I have a fucking education and you don't, you fucking ignorant wretch.